Shall I pull your card? Shall I pull your card and tell you?
Oh, are you gonna read my shit?
Yeah, I want to.
Let's do it on air, dog.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm gonna do a random card out of the Cosmic Comforts. So 50 tender affirmations and grounding meditations from the universe. Where were we yesterday?
Like spiritually?
Last night.
Oh,
Spiritually?
we're in Eagle Rock.
We were in Eagle Rock for a pop-up. For a pop-up at this really cute
Popping it up.
arts and crafts store. Or
Is that what that was?
it was like a stationery store.
Okay.
My kind of thing. I love it.
That you found.
And that I found on Instagram. They had a pop-up there where it was a guided meditation and a Q&A by this, what would you call her?
Side note, if you ever been through a guided meditation, they're so relaxing.
Yeah, they are.
So relaxing.
Well, anyways, her name is Yumi Sakugawa. Great person.
Because the point was to get your aura read.
But the point was to get my aura read, but I also was going for this meditation.
Yeah, it was like two things.
It was called as like a somatic meditation. I guess that's what it was. The somatic experience was the meditation. So, anyways, author and illustrator Yumi Sakugawa, author of such books like There Is No Wrong Way to Meditate.
True.
She also has an adult coloring book that I bought.
Yeah.
And 4 days prior, this is why I found out about the event, I had bought this deck of cards. And these are 50 tender affirmations and grounding meditations from the universe. So we got to hear the story about how that kind of came to be.
Oh, shit.
And she was offering to pull cards and kind of speak life into people at the event.
Is that what you bought yesterday?
I did not buy this yesterday. I bought this 6 days ago.
Oh, because you were excited about this.
Yes. I found out about the event through these cards.
Okay.
So I'm going to pull your card and we're going to see
Well, how do you know it's my card?
Because I'm pulling it for you.
Is that how it works?
Yeah. There's no right or wrong way to do it.
So you just pull a card.
I just pull a card.
Okay.
Here we go. Ooh, it's blue on the bottom and it's pink on top.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Here we go.
Oh, okay. All right. So this card says plant seeds. It says you can plant seeds for all your wildest dreams and greatest desires, even if you don't know exactly how or when you will get there. Plant seeds of all your wishes, big and small, into the cosmic soil of the universe and be ready to be happily delighted when these seeds eventually sprout into existence, flower, and bear fruit. Simply trust and wait. A lush garden awaits you.
Mm-hmm. This sounds like a trust the process kind of thing.
What do you think about it? Does it relate to you right now?
A little bit.
A little bit?
That's kind of been my fucking...
I know you're skeptical about like
life's
stuff
journey
like this, right?
for the past, all my adult life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just planting seeds. I think we had a conversation about that. Like, yeah, I remember.
So, sure?
We should probably state you are kind of a little skeptic about
yeah.
stuff like this.
So where would you stand?
I'm very skeptic.
Okay.
I don't believe in mysticism or New Age mysticism or New Age spirituality.
Yeah.
However, it might seem like really weird that I'm reading these cards right now. The only reason why I got these cards is because they're affirmations, and I'm going through a really difficult time in my life right now, and
you want some positivity.
I need some positivity, and one of the ways that I've found to help ground me in everyday life, keep me from my negative thoughts, has been affirmations. So 50 freaking affirmations for me to speak over my life, it sounds fantastic.
Why not just follow some like those affirmation pages on Instagram? You know what I mean?
Because I don't...
All the girls do it.
Right.
Yeah, and it works.
So the reason why I bought this was just for the fun of it. Like the idea that you could pull out a card and just encourage somebody, but like how I just read to you.
Yeah.
She said this last night. Yumi said like one thing she wanted to include on this deck box that she didn't get to was the fact that you can like pull this out when you meet with friends. It's a good conversation starter. Okay, so I love that I read yours. I love the last line. It says, simply trust and wait, a lush garden awaits for you. I've been talking a lot about gardens in my own personal life in the last 3 weeks. I am a gardener.
Yeah.
But to be specific, I have been talking a lot about spiritual gardens and mental gardens over the last 3 weeks, like on social media. So I pulled a card for you. I'm going to pull a card for me now. So mine is purple on top, pink in the middle, and like orange to yellowish on the bottom. Mine is breathe. Oh fuck.
Oh, shit, dog.
Mine is breathe. I'm gonna cry right now. I'm trying not to cry.
Inhale, dog.
No. Okay. Wow, this is crazy. Mine is breathe. Here, so it says, pay attention to your breathing, the sacred intake of air that began your singular lifetime here on this earth. And I want to interject really quick to talk about when we were doing the guided meditation last night. Part of that was somatic, and she was teaching us how to breathe. Remember, like breathe, hold in, and then sigh, like ah.
You know, there's a proper way of breathing that most people don't do.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting that there was a little bit of focus on breathing, and like, you know, she was talking about like with the inhales, taking in like energy, with the exhaling what you don't need, etc. I'll get into why I like that in a minute, even though that is kind of mystical. Let me finish reading this card. Slowly fill your lungs with air and silently thank the plants of this earth for providing you with oxygen to breathe. As you exhale, think of all the living beings on this earth breathing with you in this present moment, sharing this simple miracle. Think of how, with every breath, you are taking in a new cycle and releasing an old cycle to create space for the next new one again and again and again. It's beautiful. I love that. All that aside, I've had quite a few panic attacks over the last couple of weeks, so breathing has been something I've been struggling to do when I'm struggling with negative thoughts. But so that's really calming, really meditating. Another part of that night,
Yeah.
the primary reason why I went actually was to get my aura read.
Oh, yeah.
And this is definitely uncharacteristic of me.
Yeah, I kind of laughed a little when you sent me the thing, but I was like, oh, whatever. Let's go.
Yeah, it's not me. It's not something I do. But earlier during the week, I knew Saturday was going to be hard for me. And again, just the fact that this event came up and it was a guided meditation, it just seemed like I need to be there. You know what I mean? Like I want to learn how to ground myself more. So I was on the website buying tickets for this. It turned out to be a free event, but I also saw that they were doing aura readings, and I was like, "Oh, interesting." Somebody talked to me like a couple months ago about aura reading, and I was like, "I don't know what that is, but that sounds cool," you know. And I also have a close friend of mine who is a tattoo artist. Shout out to them; they know who they are. But the last time they tattooed me, she was talking about my aura. She was like, "Have you ever gotten your aura read?" I was like, "No, what the heck is that?"
Yeah.
She was telling me how I have a very unique aura, and she was like telling me about the aura that I had at that moment. I didn't really think much of it at the time. I just thought that's cool, you know, that you think you have that sense. I don't necessarily believe in that, but it was all encouraging. So I like encouragement. What I did not know is that your aura is constantly changing, whether it's day to day or season to season. It's
Right.
not a fixed state, so it's not like you get your aura read and that's what you are.
Yeah.
It's as the person explained to me last night, it's neutral energy. So all aura is neutral. None of it is good or bad. And it's changing. So you can get it done multiple times to kind of get a better picture of like what's going on in your life. So I had no idea what was going to happen going into this. No idea. Actually, to be honest with you, probably the main reason I wanted to go get this done, besides the fact that someone was going to attempt to read me, was that I got a free Polaroid out of it.
Yeah.
And it's got colors over it. And I saw that online and I was like, I want a freaking Polaroid picture of me with like colors.
Polaroid.
And then to attach meaning to those colors. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So anyways.
We should mention that I also attempted to get one too. So we get there, and after the guided meditation, the person who's doing the Polaroid stuff, it was like an informal thing. She said, if you signed up, just come over, and there isn't a line technically, but I'll eventually get to all of you. So you were, I guess, one of the first people. So we were in line, and then it finally hit. So the funny thing is that it seemed like anyone could go and get their picture taken. The problem was that you had paid.
Yeah, I paid.
So we weren't sure as to like what you paid for exactly.
Yeah.
But you paid to be there.
Yeah.
So it was a thing of like, rightfully you were like, well, I paid for this shit, so like I'm gonna get my photo taken. but it would have been hilarious if I could have just gotten my photo and aura read
Yeah.
without me paying.
Yeah.
And then we were looking around, and some people were doing it together,
Yeah.
so we didn't know if we should. And then when the lady finally called you, you just went. I was like hoping you would ask, but you just went, and I'm like, oh, all right.
No, she was like, "What about him?" I was like, "I don't know." I just threw you under the bus. I was like,
Yeah.
"I don't know. I don't think he paid."
No. She asked for your name. You gave her your name, and then she did ask, and what about him? And then I think she asked, are you signed up or something like that? Like, are
Yeah.
you signed up too?
Yeah.
And then that's when you said, no, just me.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, okay. And then that's when.
But there were two couples before us who also went, and it didn't seem as if both of them paid. It just seemed like one of them paid.
Right. Yeah.
But the thing is, I didn't want to get my picture taken with you. I was like, this is a me moment. Like, I need my aura read, you know? And so,
You
plus,
could have had combined aura like Dragon Ball Z.
combined aura. Yeah. So, anyways, I get the picture taken, and it shows my aura.
Yeah.
And I learned about what it is, how to decipher it. And she read my aura to me. What she does first is explain what aura is. And that's when she said, aura is not good or bad, it's just neutral energy.
Mm.
And there's a spectrum. Think of a rainbow. There's a spectrum, and every color means something. And then she said, everybody's aura manifests in kind of like an egg shape around them.
Hmm.
But there are two exceptions to that. And she said, you have one of the two. And immediately, I'm like, oh, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's not good. Like, I didn't want to hear that. Either you're going to tell me I'm really special and I'm going to win the lottery,
especially fucked up.
or especially fucked.
Yeah.
But that's when she said, all aura is neutral. It's not good or bad.
Right.
So she explained to me that the colors on the above my head are consciousness. They represent consciousness, your hopes and your dreams. The colors on the right side of me are receptive and imaginative. She described it as feminine energy. So it's energy that is being absorbed by me, like that I'm taking in. And then on the other side of me, it's expressive physical energy. And this is masculine energy that exits from my body. So there's a way to define all of this that kind of you're supposed to, by looking at your aura, you're supposed to get a picture of
where you're at,
what you should be doing.
Okay.
So my aura was different, one of the two. It was split. It wasn't an egg. Not only was it split, it was nearly symmetrical on both sides. Whereas most people tend to have like a color gradient from top to bottom of maybe 1 to 3 colors. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors going on in me. And I was like, what the I was like, oh man, well, I do feel like I have a lot going on in my life right now. So
5 colors.
she explained basically, first of all, she said that I'm an empath, which is hilarious because I had recorded an episode 4 days prior for this podcast titled Am I an Empath?
Oh, shit.
And the reason I did that is because I'd been talking to people online over the past couple months, and they've just been telling me like, oh, like I think you're an empath or something like that. And I'm just like, okay, cool, whatever. Like, I don't believe in that stuff. But for whatever reason last week, I was just like, why don't I do an episode titled Am I an Empath? This way I can study it. I can look into it. I can see if there's science behind this whole empath terminology.
Yeah.
And so I did just that, and I got my answers. You know what I mean? The fact that she had just said that I'm an empathetic person, I'm an empath. She said that like I feel things intensely. She basically, it's as if she watched the podcast episode 4 days ago and heard everything I was describing about myself.
So everything was syncing up.
Everything was syncing up. So at that point, she had my attention. I was like, okay, that's very true. And then in this photo, you can see 4 spheres above my head.
Yeah. And
she said that those spheres were like, they have to do with my intentions. She's like, I have multiple intentions right now. She was like, tell me if this is correct. Your love language, one of your love languages is acts of service.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah. I love to do things for people. Like the one way that I express love is by acts of service. Anyways, she was like, there's multiple areas in your life right now that I think you're, like, in a sense, overextending. And
Hmm.
it's going to be important for you to set up boundaries. I won't go into detail, but there's definitely multiple events going on in my life right now where I am showing up for people emotionally,
Right.
people who are really struggling right now. And though I'm fine right now, I took it as like, if I don't put up boundaries and make sure I'm taking care of myself in the in between, I'm going to crash out. My mental adrenaline is going to drain on me and I'm going to be really hurt. You know what I mean? I'm going to be spread too thin. So the rest of what she explained, on the bottom, I'm tan. She was like, "You're a strategic person. You are analytical, logical." Yeah, I am. I've always thought that about myself. But she said, "You're also really gentle. Like you're not." She, if you look at my picture, I have more feminine energy coming in to me than I have masculine exiting out of me. And so she had mentioned something about like there's a lot of gentleness, a lot of femininity in me, and which was also very affirming because I've struggled my entire life with like being represented as just as traditionally masculine.
Mm.
I don't like the idea of me being masculine in the sense that society has defined it.
Mm.
Now, I don't believe that aura is like if we were to think logically, I don't think we should define aura as submitting to social constructs because if there's an understanding of femininity and masculinity, that means that follow that logic through, that means that this has something to do with roles. It has to do with the uniqueness of man and woman.
Yeah.
Am I right? What is feminine, what is masculine, and why do we have those binary terms to describe such energies, despite the fact that we have non-binary people, multiple genders, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So I just think it's interesting that there is a somewhat universal recognition, even within the queer community, that recognizes masculine energy and feminine energy.
Yeah.
Logically, I could only conclude that that is detached from what we've socially constructed and
Yeah.
interpreted via roles, but rather this spiritual sense of energy that we all embody, all of us embody.
Yeah.
There is no, I don't believe that because you have a penis, you can't have long hair or you're supposed to dress a certain way or you should like certain things. I don't believe that because of your genitals, you should behave a certain way.
Right.
I don't believe that's true. I believe that in all of us, there is the embodiment of masculine and feminine. And you should honor what you're most comfortable feeling because you're you. Nobody should define your expression of identity for you.
Don't let them define you, girl.
Anyways, I won't go into to all of the colors. Those are just two that stood out to me because I could probably talk forever about this. But I got the aura red and I was really encouraged walking away from that. Like I almost got like teary eyed, you know, just I was like, wow.
So it was like validating in
Just
a
very
way.
validating. It was very I was afraid that it was gonna be like,
Was it a thing of like, oh, I'm not just in my head, like the crazy shit that's happening is crazy.
yeah. It's set into reality more of that like because I'm working my ass off these last
Right.
3 weeks. Like I'm not laying down and letting myself be kicked, like metaphorically,
Mm.
by the world or whatever the fuck's going on.
Right.
I'm fighting as hard as I can
Yeah.
to stick to my own resolve, which is like still healing, still learning, never giving up. Even when life is incredibly hard, which it is right now, incredibly hard for me. It was really validating to just have somebody be like, your aura is showing that you're going through a lot of shit right now. So make sure you set up your boundaries because people are coming to you right now and you love to help people. She didn't know about my page. She didn't know about any of that I do every single day.
Yeah.
So the boundary stuff was very encouraging. And then just the different, like she talked about, like throat chalk or throat aura, all of that
There's
was,
throat aura?
yeah, there's, so she was like, So again, people have spheres, right? In mine, you could see a different colored aura in my throat. So she was able to be like, I forgot what that represented. Okay, speaking life and shit. Because the color of my middle is green. And green on this card says growth, healing, compassionate, driven, adaptable, achievement, change, abundance, and vitality. So she's like, what's coming out of you is like not essentially not bad. Not it's like there's growth going on right now. There is vitality that like you are being filled with. I think there was also a metaphor in there about like, the whole cup pouring, you can't pour into others if you don't pour into yourself. Like warning for that. So again, I was really encouraged, even though I wouldn't take that as gospel. I wouldn't go get my aura read every single week. And I think where the issue is with practices like this is when we become so dependent on them that they begin to dictate how we live our lives. And then, because then I think you become trapped in a sense. You know what I mean? Like you're not
living your life.
Because you're not living your life.
Yeah.
You're letting somebody else define for you. I think there's a level of discernment that you have to go into these things.
Yeah, because at best, these things were designed to like guide you.
Exactly.
Like the way that religion is supposed to guide you.
Yes.
You're not supposed to adhere to it as gospel.
Yeah. But, to tie this back into why I even wanted to go that night.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's great to have things like aura readings done, to be encouraged, to learn about energy, to learn about meditative practices, primarily as somebody who isn't a mystic themselves, as somebody who denies New Age mysticism and things like that. I mean, I'm not going to not be your friend if you think that because Mars is in retrograde right now, that's why your life is shit. Which, by the way, Mars is in retrograde right now.
Found out there's a Mars and Venus retrograde.
Yeah. I stop at there. I stop at astrology.
Yeah.
I stop at astrology.
Why, though? Why? You're already there, doggy.
Too complicated for one. Again, it just goes back to the whole being trapped and defining. I've seen that shit play out in people.
Same.
Mars is a retrograde. I'm gonna crash out. Like almost allowing them freedom
to do whatever
they want.
Yeah.
Or to mess up because Mars is in retrograde.
I'm gonna start doing that.
You know what I mean? Or I can't that relationship didn't work out because they're a Virgo and I'm a whatever. And then there's like water, fire, air, earth, moon rising. So like, I don't want my life to be defined by something like that. I hate the idea of, we can't be friends because you're a Taurus and I'm an Aries. Which, by the way, I've met people who are heavily into astrology, found out that I'm an Aries, and they're a sign where we don't get together. But they found this out way after the fact and we were friends. Great. And then they were like, but wait. What is your sun? And then they're like, oh, that's why we're friends. Because you have this sun rising or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, of course.
I've done the thing where I meet people, and it's happened many times, where they ask you, like, what's your sign? And then I give them a sign that I know isn't mine. I intentionally give them a different one each time. So I'll be like, Aries. Each time I give them a different sign, they always respond the same way. They're like, oh, okay, I see it. Yeah. I'm like, bro, like, I just disproved your whole thing. I've told each of you a different sign.
Yeah.
Each of you respond the same way. Each of you are like, oh, that's why you're pretty, like, easygoing. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, even if according to all that stuff, like, each personality traits are assigned to each sign. So, according to you, like, I should be the person I am if I was this sign.
Yeah.
You know? So, in a matter of seconds, I just disproved your whole thing. But I like doing it anyway.
Right.
I love doing that shit.
That's pretty mean.
Is it mean, though? I think the mean...
Some people's worldviews are really, really based off of astrology.
I know. That's when, like, something has, like, gone too far, you know?
But I guess when you think about it, it's the same vein as Christianity or any other religion.
The thing, too, is that I do know someone who's... she's not too into that stuff, but out of curiosity, like, she really took the time to read that. And she even said the same thing I eventually figured out, that the Instagram astrology people, like, don't actually know as much as they think they do about astrology. Because if you did, you wouldn't assign so much meaning into that stuff. Again,
Why?
it's only meant to guide you. Just meant to guide you. You're not supposed to
Oh,
assign
okay. So
your
there's
whole
a
life. Your worldview should not be astrology. And if you did
okay.
read into that, you would know that.
So somewhere there was a split when this culture started to arise. So like real astrologists.
Yeah. And most people that you'll come across that are like allegedly into that stuff, they just read the slides on like social media over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did a bunch of research on affirmations and
Oh yeah.
meditation. Um, and this is kind of what I wanted to get back to tie us into why aura reading, why affirmation card deck, why go to a meditation thingy, guided meditation practice. Because there's science behind this. There's science behind what I believe, what I call speaking life. Like, I believe
More life.
that all people, when you're interacting with one another or yourself, you're doing one of two things. You're either speaking life or you're speaking death.
Oh shit.
And that's an idea that is represented in different cultures and different religions. But I truly believe that you're either speaking life or speaking death. That's why, personally, for me, this is just me,
Yeah.
that I don't like, if I have a group of friends, I don't want to be talking about shit that's not constructive. Like if you're putting people down without logical, for example, like I'm not talking about criticism. I'm not talking about
Talking about
criticizing
shit talk.
politics or anything. Yeah, I'm talking about shit talking,
Yeah.
speaking like that's what it's called, speaking death about like over people's lives and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
So like being negative.
Being negative.
Intentionally being
Intentionally being negative or even being negative as a joke. Like
Right.
I get we use comedy and we use humor as a way to cope in real life.
Yeah.
But I think what we don't understand is there are so many other ways that we can cope in life that are more constructive than inviting such negativity in our lives to begin with. That's a whole different aside. That's just my personal belief.
Right.
So I looked into cognitive and emotional benefits of verbal affirmations and meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of science behind to back that practicing meditation, practicing verbal affirmations literally does nothing but good for you.
Mm.
So I'll read some things. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just going to rapid fire through this because it's a lot. But these are all from, you can find these online. This first paragraph that these first two paragraphs I'm going to be reading to you are from the PubMed Central National Library of Medicine. So that's pmc.ncbi.nlm.nih.gov. Long ass HTTP there, but these are papers and research studies that you can read on your own. Anyways, it says one of the benefits of verbal affirmations for the brain is reduced stress responses. Reflecting on core personal values before a stressor can dampen the body's stress reaction. In one experiment, participants who completed a value affirmation task before a stressful challenge had significantly lower levels of cortisol, i.e., the stress hormone, compared to control subjects. They also reported feeling less stressed, suggesting that affirmations help keep neuroendocrine and psychological stress responses low. This stress buffering effect contributes to emotional well being and may protect long term health by minimizing chronic stress. In other words, before you go into a really stressful situation that you know you're about to enter into,
Mm-hmm.
affirming yourself verbally, that is your personal values, your personal affirmations that reflect your
Yeah.
values. Those people showed less sign of cortisol coming out of those stressors compared to the control group who were not told to do those things.
Is it because they're mentally bracing themselves for
Yeah,
whatever it was?
because you're going in with a positive mind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even if I don't get this job, I'm going to be okay. Even if this interview doesn't go good, I have faith that whatever's next for me is truly meant for me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not accepting that you're going to fail. You're just thinking the thoughts through that if this does fail, you're managing your expectations.
My side thing with like the whole astrology stuff is that I don't mind when people do what they want to do,
Yeah.
but when they get to a point where they can't, kind of lose grip on reality to a degree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whenever you talk to someone like that, the response is usually like, "Oh, you're so boring," or like, why can't you just like, like get into it?
Mm.
My thing is that if you really are looking for answers, like they do exist.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it's called psychology.
Yes.
And not only will you find the answers, like it's more. I mean, not only is it rooted in like reality,
Mm-hmm.
but there's like so much like evidence to support any given thing, and there's more information you'll find there than you ever would in something like astrology.
Yeah. Or, I mean, you can replace that with anything. You can replace it with religion. You can replace it with ideologies. You can replace it with schools of thought, whatever. Those things are all great. But the thing is, when you make those institutions or certain things gospel, like above all, then that's when you get to the point that you're talking about. The same, I mean, as somebody who, well, I won't get into that. Let's go on to the next one.
Okay.
Improved problem solving under stress. Self affirmation can counteract the negative impact of stress on the cognition. A study with college students found that among those who were chronically stressed, the ones randomly assigned to do a brief self affirmation performed better on a creative problem solving task than equally stressed peers who did no affirmation. In fact, the affirmed students solved more problems under time pressure, essentially mitigating stress related cognitive impairments. This suggests affirmations boost cognitive flexibility and confidence, helping individuals think more clearly even in high pressure situations.
Yeah, psychology goes through all this stuff.
Yeah,
All this stuff. That's I'm always thinking like, why don't you guys just want to learn?
yeah,
Like, why don't you actually want to learn something?
yeah.
Because the thing with astrology is that you eventually get to a point where you hear, I guess, like kind of like not an echo chamber. What's the word I'm looking for? But you're just giving yourself the information that you want to hear.
It's called grounding.
Yeah,
You're helping
but the wrong
ground
kind
yourself
though.
in
You're
reality.
not. You're literally not learning anything new. You know what I mean?
When you're doing affirmations?
Uh, yeah.
Yes.
Or during like when you're doing like social media astrology, you're literally reading the same information over and over
Oh,
again,
we're talking
just
about
worded differently each time.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and to the
that's
point where like what I was joking earlier, like I'll like give someone else a different sign than I actually am.
yeah.
They don't fully like understand what it is like they're reading.
Mm.
So someone's able to, and I've seen this happen too, where just on my feed, like I'll get like a random like astrology post, and the definition behind each sign, I've seen that exact same one assigned to a different sign before,
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
and I'm like, what the fuck?
There's overlap, yeah.
It shouldn't be that easy, but it's one of those things where like if I wanted to, I could be like that astrology kingpin dog.
As if astrology isn't an economy in its own.
Yeah,
There are influencers who
that's a bar right there.
have a living
That's
based
a bar
off.
right there.
You know what I mean? That,
Astrology is an economy of its own.
I mean, that's just capitalism for you.
Yeah.
Capitalism will seep into everything and corrupt it in that sense. I won't read the last one. Let's get into meditation because this is my favorite. So meditation, i.e., or meditation or prayer or I don't know, Reiki. There's many ways to interpret meditation, but we're just going to use the term meditation for easy understanding. Meditation, particularly mindfulness and related practices, has been widely studied for its effects on the brain. Findings from neuroscience demonstrate that regular meditation can literally change brain structure and function. While psychology research documents improvements in mood and cognition, different forms of meditation, mindfulness, focused attention, compassion meditation, etc., tend to show overlapping benefits. Below are summaries of meditation practices. So I'll read those right now. Structural brain changes with meditation. Meditation is associated with neuroplastic changes in the brain anatomy, reflecting growth or reorganization in areas important for cognitive and emotional processing. For example, increased gray matter volume.
Oh shit.
Participating in an 8-week mindfulness based stress reduction program has been shown to increase gray matter density in several brain regions. MRI scans before and after the 8-week meditation training found significant increases in gray matter in the left hippocampus, a region key for learning and memory. In addition, compared to a control group, the meditation trainees showed increased gray matter in the posterior cingulate cortex and temporoparietal junction. These areas are involved in self-awareness, empathy, and emotion regulation. I just want to Sidebar really quick. Incredibly ironic that empathy is related with the increase of empathy is related with meditation when you have one big movement going on right now in American Christianity where they are talking about the sin of empathy and they're trying to tell their congregation, there are Christians out right now, pastors out right now, church leaders, theologians. There's books written right now that just came out that are talking about how empathy is bad, that you can have too much empathy, using that to justify everything that's going on in the White House right now.
Is that what Jesus would do?
Science literally shows that by praying more, spending more time with your God, you should be more empathetic.
Damn.
How ironic is that? The changes suggest that even short-term meditation practice can induce structural growth in brain regions that support memory, self-reflection, and emotional control. Such growth may underlie some of the cognitive benefits like improved memory or focus and emotional stability associated with mindfulness. There's also a section here on greater cortical thickness in long-term practitioners.
Thickness.
TLDR for this one.
The Dark Knight Rises.
This basically has to do with aging. So it's talking about like the more you meditate throughout your life, the more you're able to maintain your mental integrity, like your mental health as you gain older. Here's one I want to read that's really cool. Changes in stress-related brain structures. Meditation may also lead to reductions in the size or reactivity of brain regions that generate stress and fear. For instance, a longitudinal study of MBSR reported that reductions in stress were correlated with decreased volume of the amygdala? I don't know how to say it. Amygdala.
Yeah.
Amygdala. There you go.
Remember that one?
Meditating reduces stress in areas of the brain, such as the amygdala. And what does the amygdala do? It controls the brain's fear and emotions. It is the center of your brain that controls your fear and emotions. In other words, as participants felt less stressed, as participants felt less stressed after training, their right amygdala volume shrank, a change not seen in non-meditators. Smaller amygdala volume has been associated with lower trait anxiety and stress reactivity. This structural plasticity in an emotion-related region provides a physical brain correlate for the subjective stress reduction people experience with meditation. It implies that regular mindfulness practice can literally soften the brain's threat response system.
Soften.
Which results as less reactive, less anxiousness in your daily life.
Oh, shit.
So it goes on and on and on. I mean, there's a lot that I could read here, but I won't just for the sake of time. But if you want to get into that, you could DM me for these links. I have them all organized. It's from all the same website. These sources are from studies all throughout the 2000s. So from 2005 is the earliest study. The latest study we see here is in 2002.
Dang, remember 2005?
So that's... yeah, I do remember 2005. I was in elementary school. I was in 5th grade.
No.
Yeah, I was. In 2006, I was in 6th grade.
The fuck? No.
Yes, I was.
You in the 6th grade, doggy.
Okay, I'm talking about the end.
No.
When I graduated 6th grade, it was 2006. You know why? Okay, look. When I went into high school, it was 2008.
Did you like not go to school for a year or something?
No, I didn't. I did. We went to the same fucking school.
That's what I'm saying.
When I went into high school, it was 2008, dude.
What the fuck?
Brother, listen, we start school in the fall. That means we start school in the year prior.
Yeah, the year prior.
So we started
So
freshman year in 2008.
You started in 2007.
No, you did not. Here, I'll prove you wrong right now. What year did you graduate?
2011.
There you go. You just proved me right. You enter into freshman year, 2008.
Yeah, it ended in 2011.
You enter sophomore year in 2009. You end in 2010. You enter junior year in 2010. You leave in 2011.
Yeah.
Wait. I'm so confused right now. No, that's not right. That's not right. We graduated in 2011.
Yes.
We did not graduate in 2012.
Yes.
I'm not even high. I am not. I'm so sober.
You're sober AF, but you're having drunk
Listen.
thoughts.
We graduated in the year 2011. How long do you go to high school for? 4 years, right?
4 years.
2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. That's 4 years. That means you enter high school at 2008.
2007, dog.
Wrong. Wrong.
2007, doggy.
My brain can't comprehend this right now. This might be the result of the last 3 weeks of my life, to be honest. I do struggle with with rationalizing reality right now. I understand that. It's like those memes where you see where it's like spell BMW.
What's 7 plus 3?
10.
How long are you in high school for?
4 years. My mind is being blown right now.
So we started high school in 2007.
My mind is being
Add 4
blown.
years to that. You just did the math.
What?
You just did the math.
Go back from 2011. 11, 10, 9, 8.
You're counting weird, dog.
I just counted back by 4.
So just you guys can't see it. So most people count in the consecutive fashion. Your first finger, middle finger, ring finger, and the pinky finger. He starts with his thumb, goes to his first finger, goes to the middle finger, skips the ring finger, and goes to I think that's what's throwing him off mentally. Like, that's how you know
I don't know.
he's going through some shit.
I'm so tired. I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna attempt this one last time.
What's 7 plus 3?
10,
Add 1 more year to that.
11.
How long are you in high school for?
4 years. But listen,
You just did the math.
count back from 2011. 2011, which is 1.
You don't count
2010.
2011.
You know, what?
You're subtracting.
But I graduated in 2011.
You just did
So you want me to count from 10?
subtract 11.
If I count from 10 backwards, 10, 9, 8, 7, that's 4 years. But I did not.
No, dog. What?
I didn't graduate in 2010, though.
If you subtract 4 from 10,
That's 6. No, bitch. 4 minus 10 is 6.
picturing your hand. I'm picturing your hand. If you subtract 3 from 10, you get 7. Yeah, go ahead. Go on your phone.
No, I'm not.
Go on
I'm
your
not.
phone.
No, go.
No, go on your phone. Look it up.
I'm watching stories. I'm watching stories on Instagram.
And have someone explain it to you in a story then.
It's my ADHD. Point being, let's bring it back to the topic.
Party.
Meditation, affirmations. I have tried a lot of grounding techniques over the last 4 years of my life, and none of them tend to work when I have anxiety attacks or panic attacks. Nothing seems to really ground me, unless I have somebody with me that is helping grounding me. It's not very effective, but it's like the best thing I have, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not always going to have somebody with me if I'm experiencing something that intense.
Right.
And the last 4 weeks of my life have been the hardest in a long time. And it's scary. It's scary when you experience panic attacks, anxiety attacks. You lose your sense of reality. You disassociate, depersonalize, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a terrifying thing. So, I started therapy with another new therapist. And, of course, they recommended that I do grounding techniques. But I've already done all that. It doesn't work for me. So they asked me, when do you do them? Well, when I'm in the heat of the moment. Apparently, you have to practice them like on the daily. Like when you're healthy, when you're fine, when you're happy, when you're neutral. That's when you practice those grounding techniques. And it was explained to me in the sense of like a muscle memory, where the more you practice those techniques, the more they set in your brain, as constructive, so that when you are experiencing extreme stressors, you're better equipped to handle them. That's not a guarantee that you're going to just avoid the stressors or prevent the stressors,
Right.
but it will help you greatly, at least, in grounding yourself.
Right.
It might turn 6 hours of anxiety attack into 1.
Right.
Or a trip to the hospital because of panic attack to no trip.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. So I was sent a list of like all these grounding techniques. And the one that stood out to me the most was the somatic ones. The ones about breathing and affirmations, which also includes meditation. And as I had been experiencing some extreme stressors in my day-to-day, I found that audibly talking to myself, affirmative phrases, has been the best way to like help ground me, to help prevent me into spiraling into depression, which is weird because I've never accepted that as credible. I always thought it was stupid when people would talk about affirmations and things like that. It's just like,
Yeah,
to me, in my head, I would almost mock that in my head and just be like, that's stupid, dude. Like,
that's crazy.
but there's science behind it, and I'm the stupid one when it comes down to. And when I told my other therapist about this, he was like, I don't exactly remember what he said, but there's something about when you verbally say something, you are, in a sense, bringing it into reality. In the same way that I create online what I'm going through helps me understand it instead of internalizing it. Because what I've been doing for most of my life is internalizing my struggles, internalizing my fear, internalizing my anxiety, internalizing my depression, my anger, internalizing addiction, whatever. But when I project that onto art or I write about it, which is what I've been doing the most in the last year,
Yeah,
it becomes tangible to me. And so it no longer rules me. But that didn't solve that didn't solve the issue of the panic attacks and anxiety attacks that I have, because I still have them. And so I'm now learning, for me, that verbally affirming myself, like, I'll give you an example. I'm a really socially awkward person and I overthink a lot in my interactions with people. So let's say that I meet a new friend by chance, or a new potential friend, because it's very hard for me to make friends. And let's just say I'm at some event and there's a person that we really hit it off well, and they like ask for my IG and stuff. I'll go home that day and just overanalyze like some of the like the interaction. Like, do they really want to get to know me more? Like, I'll question everything. I'll just negatively self-talk the entire time.
mm.
Oh, once they see my page, they're gonna be turned off by the fact that a 31-year-old man has a this page on Instagram.
Yeah,
I could think about that and ruminate about that forever. But if I affirm myself verbally, I just go something like, that's not true. That's just fear in my head right now, trying to make me, that's just my anxiety. It's just my social anxiety. That isn't my reality. That isn't reality. People are much more complex than that. There is definitely potential here to make a friend. There's definitely a potential, like, I just start to ground myself in reality by talking to myself. I've done it in my head forever, and it never seems to work because I'm always fighting with myself. And there is science behind that too. I don't remember because my therapist explained it to me, but I don't remember. But when you do it in your head, the negative self-talk in your head, it's almost as equal as the positive. And it's very easy to just swallow that positive.
is it because we have the negativity bias? That's why, like, so like if you work like retail or fast food, you're gonna have like 100 people throughout the day that you talk to, but only out of the 100, maybe only 5 were just like complete assholes.
Yeah.
But you remember those 5 vividly than you did the other 95 because negativity bias.
Yeah. That's why it's important to be practicing our grounding techniques when we're completely stable and to get into meditation. You think you'd ever start meditating?
You can do it on your own, but it's hard. You have to really like know how to do that.
You need to develop that skill.
Yeah.
And I think it ties into your mental health. Like, you need to be emotionally intelligent. You need to be well enough, confident enough. You know what I mean? It's all intertwined.
Yeah.
You need a teacher. Some people go to meditation groups or yoga. You know what I mean? Like, there's different ways of expression where you can learn how to meditate. It's very hard to do anything on your own. I wouldn't recommend it. That's why I went to this thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I also learned that people, I said this earlier, but we don't breathe correctly.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of habits that we have that we learn as we grow up. Whereas like when you look at children, they're at like base form and they do things a lot of what they do is done correctly. So here's an example.
Mm.
So as you get older, if you drop something, when you go to pick it up, you don't bend your legs, you just hunch over.
Yeah.
And all those things that you do throughout the day will agitate your back. And then when you do that on years on end, you think you have back problems. Really, it's not a problem. You've been wearing out your back.
Yeah.
All of our muscles can stretch, some more than others, but they're all designed to stretch to a degree. So what you're supposed to do with the muscle that's been stretched too much is you tighten it.
Mm.
And one part of your body will affect another. So all that to say is that your back isn't broken. Just tighten it and then tighten it and also strengthen it, and you're fine. You won't need any painkillers. You won't need surgery or anything. So, which sucks too, because like people will go to the doctor for that.
Yeah.
And the doctors will prescribe them things and sometimes suggest surgery over nothing, dog. Over fucking nothing.
Crazy.
some scammy shit.
That's a whole different episode.
Yeah, but point being is that if you really do learn how to meditate like thoroughly, yeah, it's good.
Look into it. Learn how to meditate. Practice grounding techniques. And leave us a comment. Let us know if you have done this before and if it's worked for you. See ya.